Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to Mathematics with Shahab Yaqub. So after the session on differentiation integration, now it's time that we are starting with this paper, which is Feb March 2025 variant 1-2. So now let's look at this thing. Yes, it's an official paper over here. And it's not officially released, but from different sources, you get hold of the paper, and I'm solving this. Now it says a curve has this equation, y is equals to 5 plus 3x minus 2x squared, and a straight line has this equation where k is a constant. Find the set of values for which the curve and the line do not meet. So this is a question about quadratics. So let me keep on writing over here. So this is about quadratics, and in quadratics, this is about b squared minus 4ac less than 0. Simple working as usual, that is get rid of y, make a single equation. So this is y equals to this, y equals to this, make a simple single equation. Isolate a, b, and c, b squared minus 4ac less than 0, you get this thing. Now, this is the normal way that people try, which is expand k minus 3 whole square. That is this thing. Let me put a bracket over here. This is k minus 3 whole square minus 64. You get this thing. Then you do middle term factorization. You should always show the sketch. So sketch is a must for solving a quadratic inequality. Show a sketch, and then based upon the sketch, write down the answer. It's lesser than 0. That is the region below the x-axis. One single region, one single answer. X lies between these two values. Method 2, what I have applied over here, this is like a squared minus b squared. That is a plus b, a minus b, and you can factorize it like this also. The ending is the same. So question number 1 is done. Question number 2, just read the question first. The question says the diagram shows a curve with equation such and such. The curve crosses the x-axis at point 10. So let me highlight it. This is the point P10. And there is another point which is M, which is a minimum point. So there are 2 points over here. First thing, find the gradient of the curve at P. Second thing, find the coordinates of M. Give each coordinate correct to 3 significant figures. So now the first thing first, that is differentiate. And then plug in x is equals to 1. And then let me just remove this extra stuff I've written. Plug in x is equals to 1. So when we plug in x is equals to 1, you find the gradient. They're only asking the gradient, not tangent, not normal, just the gradient. Find the coordinates of m. Dy by dx equals to 0. Again, you are getting x cube is this thing. Therefore, x is cube root of a negative number. Yes, cube root of a negative number does exist. Cube root of negative is negative. This is the 3 significant figure value. Plug in curve equation. Plug in x coordinate of stationary point in curve equation. So now, let me write over here. In curve equation, and then you find what? You find the y coordinate, and let me just write one thing which I have not shown over here. So the plug in value, use 4SF value. And then this answer is again 3SF. They're asking the coordinates. So write it as coordinates, negative 1.08, 9.96. Make sure you write it as a coordinate. So 2 questions are done. This thing is about what? This thing is about differentiation. So this is about differentiation. The third one, this is about binomial. So this is binomial. What is the question about? The question is that find the complete expansion. Instead of any particular terms, they are asking for the complete expansion. There will be 5 terms. NC0, b raised to power of 0, a raised to power of 4. Let me write the formula over here so you can connect. Of course, at this point, you should be connecting. NCR, a raised to power of n minus r, and then b raised to power of r. This is the particular term formula, and then you apply for each term. So now we have this thing, take care of the plus minus sign. So let me highlight this. So now over here, if there is a negative raised to negative, 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 negative raised to an odd remains negative. So this negative remains, this negative remains, the other things are positive. Just take care of that, use a calculator, simplify, and so on. Now the second part, it says, hence determine the coefficient of x square in the expansion of this. So now you have to multiply this. So which terms are applicable for you? So now it's a good strategy on part of the examiners to make you get all the terms and then you decide which ones are relevant. So there is an x squared term over here. It should multiply with a constant term. So let me pick the constant from here. There is an constant term over here. It should multiply with the x squared. There are only two terms, so only two choices. Multiply the corresponding terms, take care of the positive negative sign, and this answer is coming out to be negative 264. So therefore, this is the correct answer, coefficient of x squared. Binomial is done. Now this is about circular measure. So this is CM, circular measure. Make sure angle is in radians. Make sure the calculator is in radian mode. So make sure of all these nitty-gritty details. Now, first look at the diagram, a very simple diagram. What you see is a triangle. The triangle has length 10 and 10, and then there is a sector. The length of the sector is 6 and 6. The radii are 6 and 6, and the angle is 0.8. So let me just highlight this thing a little bit. So this blue line is there. And let me just make it thinner. So this blue line is there. That is the radius. That is the radius. And that is the arc length like this. And then add to it this thing, the green one, and then let me add this red one over here. So now you can have a very good idea. I think in the future, someday they'll be making colored papers. For the sector, for the arc length, use this. For the area, half r squared theta based upon this. For the triangle, use 10 and 10. And you can find AB by using cosine rule. If they ask for it, you can find the area of the triangle, half AB sine C. So that is the basic idea. Find the perimeter of the shaded region and find the area of the shaded region. So for perimeter of the shaded region, so I can write over here, perimeter is equals to AC, AB, BC. AC and BC and AB. So now if I focus on AB, AB is found using cosine rule. If I focus on this thing, there is also one other thing, my bad. So that is this thing, arc length CD, arc length CD. So for arc length CD, that is over here, the blue thing, that is over here, that is exact. This is exact, work in 4 significant figures, if inexact. And then there are two things which are green in color. That is AC and BD. You can see that's 4 and 4. So AC and BC, that's 4, that's 4. This one is 4.8. This blue one is 7.788 for significant figure. Final answer, give it correct to 3SF. That's how this is done. Very simple. Find the area of the shaded region. That's the area of the triangle. So area of triangle is this thing. I did not use the calculator. Area of sector is this thing. And since they are not asking these two things separately, so hold for a second, let me grab this thing. Since they are not asking these two things separately, so let me plug this thing over here and let me write it like this. So therefore, area of shaded, that is half into, the triangle is bigger, half into 10 into 10 into sine of 0.8 minus half into 6 into 6 into 0.8. You simplify, you subtract this thing. This becomes this becomes this. Use a calculator, you get this answer. First write 4 significant figures, then write 3SF. So now circular measure is also done. Question number 5. Yes, I would consider this one to be a tricky question. So this one is a tricky AP question. So there is only AP till now. I think there's a GP also. An arithmetic progression has a first term 5, common difference 6. For this progression, what it means is that, let me highlight this. For this progression in which the first term is 5, common difference is 6, for this progression, find the sum of all terms that lie between 150 and 400. So now, if the common difference is 6, is 150 one of those terms? Is 400 one of those terms? That we have to check out. It can be after 150. So the game is this. So it could be 150 and so on. It could be 400 and above. So let me find a term over here. So let me find a term over here. Let me find a term over here, which is between these two. And between this, I need to find whatever they are asking for, find the sum of all the terms. So now step one is that AP, A plus 5, A is 5, D is 6. I use the term formula and I get the term formula in terms of n. So this is Tn. Now look for terms of the progression. Tn is this between these two. So 6n minus 1 is 150, n is 25.17, n has to be an integer. So if I use n as 25, if I use n as 25, Tn is 6 into 25. That is 150 minus 1. Therefore, T25 is 149. And over here, I use the same formula. I equate it to 400. I get n is equals to 66.83. If I use n as 67, therefore T67 is how much? 6 into 67. Hold for a second. So this is 6 into 67. That is 402. 402 minus 1 is 401. So I need a term. That is the next one. So basically 149 plus 6 is 155. Therefore, I round it up. This one is rounded up. And then over here, I choose this rounding down because I don't need a term greater than 400. I need lesser. So use 66 over here. Use 26 over here. T26 is this thing. T66 is this thing. So this is T66 and this is T26. Got the idea? So we are looking for this term. We are looking for this term. Now, this can be done in a very obvious manner, but still, I just want to raise the curiosity level that, of course, it is also part of AP. There is the 26 term, then there is the 27 term, all the way till 66. So remember how you do the subtraction. 66 minus 26, add 1. That is how the pages in a book or the number of years are counted. You subtract, you add 1, this comes out to be 41. So that is the obvious part. If someone is unsure, they can again use the term formula and calculate the number of terms for themselves. If someone is unsure, I have done that. So now there are two options. Method 1 is using this sum formula. Sn is equals to n divided by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Someone can use this formula, n divided by 2, a plus l. In both cases, the answer is 11,275. And this answer is exact. No need to round off. Now, don't ask me this question, what if we round off? I mean, are you challenging the examiner? You should not. When it says very clearly, leave the answer in the exact form. If inexact, then round off. So leave the answer in the exact form. As simple as this. So this thing is done. Circle a very small, a very beautiful question that they have created of circle. And a very unique question after a long, long time. Unique and simple. So this is unique, but simple. That is the circle thing over here. The diagram shows a circle, center C, radius R, X is positive, Y is positive. That means it has to be in the first quadrant only. So therefore, X is positive, Y is positive. It has to be in the first quadrant and no other quadrant. That is the first thing. The next thing is that the least distance between any points on C, that is the circle or the circumference of the circle in the X-axis is 8. So the least distance from this point till the X-axis is 8. It could be more also because it can go all the way up till here. So that would be 8 plus 2R, but we are not interested in that. The least distance between any point on C and the Y-axis is 5 units. So this is the first time touching the circle, that is 5. If you go R, if you go more, that is R. State the coordinates of the center of the circle in terms of r. This is the exact value. This is 5, this is r, this is 8, this is r. So the x coordinate is 5 plus r or r plus 5. The y coordinate is 8 plus r or r plus 8. So that is how you write it for 1 mark. That is the basic thing to start with. Given that the distance between the origin and the center of the circle is 15, so origin and center of the circle, I have labeled M as the center. So just use the distance formula. OM modulus is 15. R plus 5 whole square, R plus 8 whole square, square root is 15. I've squared both sides. You get this quadratic formula. You do the middle term factorization. Once you do the middle term factorization, you get two values. R has to be positive. Discard the negative value. The point on the circle furthest from the origin is denoted by P. The point on the circle furthest from the origin, find the gradient of the tangent to the circle at P. We know that the value of R is 4. Therefore, the center of the circle is 9, 12. So now the furthest thing would be like this. Let me go all the way up till here. That is the furthest thing. So if I talk about the origin, if I have this point that is M, and whatever the gradient is up till here, if I draw a tangent over here, let me just draw a tangent, a thin tangent like this. So therefore, gradient of OM into gradient of tangent should be negative, reciprocal of one another, or the product should be -1. Because the tangent, the radius is perpendicular to tangent, and OM all the way till here, that is M till radius, this gradient and this gradient is the same. That is the logic that's applied. So therefore, just find the gradient of these 2 points, and there is no other point as such. So the gradient of the perpendicular should be -3/4. So the circular question is done. Question number 7, this is about trigonometry. So now this is about trigo. And the first one is an identity. The second one is an equation. Let's get started with this. 3 tan square theta plus 5 sine square theta is this thing. Now, for a second, I had the feeling to open this up, but then I thought about tangent. And I said that tangent theta is sine theta over cosine theta. We should also know that sine square theta plus cosine square theta equals to 1. So I got started with the left-hand side. Mention which side do you open up. It's a good idea. It's not necessary, but a better idea. Tangent is written as sine square over cos square. Sine square is written as this. Also focus on this thing, which I have labeled over here. Mention the variables that you're using. Let sine theta be written as S, cos theta is written as C. A lot of people ask me this question, already answered many times in class and also right now. Then you take LCM. So we have this thing. Then the first thing that you should do over here is what? Take common. Before you proceed, take common as much as possible. So take common, I've achieved this thing, 3 plus 5 c squared. Now replace c squared as 1 minus s squared. C squared, 1 minus s squared. Or in case you need s squared, that is 1 minus c squared. That thing is done. Simplify this. And then at the end, replace cos squared with this, and then you get this. So that was a pretty straightforward thing for 3 marks. Hence, solve this equation. So this is what you have proven so far. So this is what you have achieved. Equate it to 9 and then solve. So now what are you getting? You are getting a disguised quadratic equation. Let m is equals to sine square, m square is s4. You have this thing. This time it's not factorizable. So you have to use quadratic formula. Now you can plug in everything in the calculator, simplify. My habit is to evaluate b square minus 4ac first. I get root 109. I got 10.44. This is working to 4 significant figures. Then I use the quadratic formula. You don't have to show A, B, C. You can just plug it in right over there. I show all the steps. Yes, this is very necessary. Sine square theta is this much. Sine theta is this thing. Sine, the maximum value is 1. Minimum value is -1. So therefore, this is rejected, discarded. Sine square theta is this thing. Sine theta is plus minus. Therefore, all 4 quadrants, it's written over here. Show all these 4 steps. Modification of range, there isn't any. It's 0 till 270. So basically, this is first, this is second, this is third. We are focusing on 3 quadrants, not the fourth one. Let alpha be the basic angle, the acute angle with the x-axis. The examiner is aware of this term. Find alpha, correct to 2 dp. Just look at all my working. Do not compromise if you want your A grade. It's your choice. There is no harm in trying it out. Some people don't want the grade. They want a mention of themselves in the examiner report. Again, the choice is yours. This is the first quadrant. This is 180 minus basic angle, 180 plus basic angle. Simplify, 2 decimal places. Final answer, 1 decimal place. Question number 8. So after AP strikes GP. So now this is GP, geometric progression. A geometric progression is such that the second term is negative 120. Highlight as much as possible. Second term is negative 120. And its sum to infinity is 160. Sum to infinity also written as convergent series, geometric series. And common ratio should lie between -1 and +1. Keep that in mind. Find the common ratio. First thing, T2 is AR. AR is negative 120. Make A the subject. So make a habit of doing that. That is the first thing. Second thing, sum to infinity is A over 1 minus R. A over 1 minus R is 160. Again, make A the subject. So now you have A over here. You have A over here. Let me write this as equation 1. Let me write this as equation 2. I have a habit of making A the subject and then equating it. So this is the red thing that you see over here. And this is the blue thing that you see over here. When you equate, the zeros are canceling out. That's up to you. Your O-level maths should be strong. Your algebra should be strong. No survival in P1 without algebra. Do middle term factorization. I mean, the paper is filled up with middle term factorization and disguised quadratic kind of thing. You get 2 answers. This is accepted. This is rejected. Why is this accepted? Because sum to infinity exists if common ratio lies between -1 and 1. This is rejected. And then you find the corresponding value of A, that is 240. Again, a nice question. So this one is a nice question over here. And there are 2 ways of solving it. The first 9 terms of the progression are now removed. Find the sum to infinity of the remaining terms of the progression. So if I remove the first 9 terms, my sum to infinity should be from T10 till T infinity. So A is there, R is there, N is there. Find T10. That is this thing, exact. Do not round off. If you round off, you will lose marks. And then sum to infinity is this A over 1 minus R. This is the answer. Method 2. Sum of 9 terms. And then subtract it from sum to infinity. That is the answer. So both methods look fabulous, look amazing. It's your choice. Work in the exact form. So it's all about the exact form. Question number 9. What is it about? Question number 9, it's about maxima, minima. It's about integration. Okay. So let me highlight this. So it's about basics of differentiation, basic of integration. Now it says the second derivative is this thing. It has a stationary point. Now there are 2 points over here. The first thing, x is half, y is 9. That is 1 point. The other one is x is half, dy by dx is 0. These are the 2 points over here. Use the expression to determine whether the stationary point is a max or a min. X is half, just plug in. Look at all my working. Look at the beauty of this working. It's just I have to exaggerate it so that you have a feel that you have to do it also. Make it worthwhile so that somebody can take a picture and then post it on Instagram. That's how it should be good. If you have this intention, you can work out things as it is. Just look at the working over here. Just look at the working. Just do every single step if you want your A grade, nothing more. And then you get this answer. This is positive. You can write 56. You can simply write positive, and therefore it's a minimum. Over here, find the equation of the curve. So now the strategy is what? The strategy is y double prime, 2y prime, 2y. First of all, y double prime to y prime, there would be a constant of integration. So we will plug x is something, y prime is something else. Over here, X is something, Y is something else. And then you'll find it. So there'll be two constant of integration along the way. There should be a plus C, there should be a plus K. Use different ones. Do not mix things up. So now write it in the proper order. Negative indices, integrate, increase power by 1, divide by new power, increase power by 1, divide by new power, simplify, simplify, simplify. Plug in X is equals to half. Now look at the working again. Again, the working is the first one. So it's basically checking on your O-level maths. Why do you want to play with your grades? Just by taking things easy and trusting the calculator as if the calculator is going to get you your grade. It is your working that will get you your grade. Just look at the paper. How many times have you used the calculator? Maybe 10% of the time. So now this is all the working that you need. You find C is equals to 6. So now you write over here. Let me write one more step. dy by dx is equals to minus 2 over x cubed plus 5 over 2x squared. X squared is bottom. So this is 5 over 2x squared plus 6. Now integrate it again. So C is 6. This is this thing minus 2 over x cubed, 5 over 2 into 1 over x squared plus C. I think this is all good. And then you work it out. Again, take it up. Again, take it up. Integrate 6. Simplify, simplify, simplify. Plug in x and y. Find the value of k. And then at the end, write this thing down. What is that? That is the equation of the curve. Question number 10. This is about integration, as we can feel it right away. This is about integration. This is about differentiation also. Yes, it's integration and differentiation. Now over here, the question says that this is the equation of the curve. It lies between 0 and 7. The tangent to the curve at P meets the y-axis at Q. The red one is the tangent. It's meeting at Q. The region A is bounded by the curve and the two axes. That is the curve and this axis and this axis. Let me also highlight it. So that is this axis over here. And then there is this axis over here. So A is area under the curve. That is direct. For B, what do we have to do? We have to find the area of the triangle and subtract this area. In order to find area of the triangle, I need coordinates of Q. In order to find coordinates of Q, I need either the equation of tangent or I need gradient of this tangent, which is PQ. Got the idea? That is the whole question. It's all about this. So now first thing, integration. This is application of chain rule. So this is chain rule over here. This is basic integration. So this is about integration. Simplify, plug in the values, you get A as 13. That's an exact value. Now over here, for part B, you start with differentiation. So this is differentiation, stationary points. Dy by dx is this thing. It's not stationary point, it's tangent and normal. So this is tangent, this is normal. It's about this thing. X is equals to 7. You find dy by dx is negative 4 over 5. This is dy by dx. Q is there, P is there. So therefore, I use the gradient concept. This should equal to negative 4 over 5. Q comes out to be this. Therefore, if you want the coordinates of Q, that is 0, 5.6. If you have the coordinates of P, that is 7, 0. You have these two. So area of a triangle, that's half into base into height. That is the base and that is the height. Just draw a diagram like this, just to give a nice view to the examiner. So this is like the other way around, I think. So no issue. This is 5.6, 28 over 5. This is 7. And that's the area of a triangle. That is 19.6. Let me just change the shape. Someone would write a comment so that the shape is not working out or something like that. So this is like this. And this is like this. Where is it? Now the blue marker. And just join it like this. So now that's realistic. This is P, this is O, this is 7, this is Q, this is 28 over 5 or 5.6, right angle, half base into height, that is this. Area of B, area of triangle minus area of A, that is 6.6, that is also exact. So now the last question, I think, and that was a very nice question, a very interesting question. So now if you have done everything over there very, very well, then even if you make some simple mistakes over here, nothing to worry. So this is about functions, this is about composite, this is about inverse, and a basic of quadratics also. Functions, composite, inverse. It's about transformation, and it's related with quadratics in the sense that it is about range. So there are 4 things of functions that they have asked. So this is which paper? This is February, March, not March 2025, variant 1-2. This is P1 AS level math. And I'll be uploading the recording very soon. Functions f and g are defined for all real values of x by this thing. Fx is this, gx is this, c and k are positive constant, g inverse of this thing is c. Show that gf is this thing. So a very nice, strong question. So first of all, let me evaluate g of f of x. And you reach this particular stage. So let me just stop over here for a second. You reach this stage. Then what do? You go to this part, and then you think about this thing. So let me just write it like this. So now this is step number 1. This is step 1. You find g fx up till here. Then this is step number 2, which is g inverse of 3k plus 1 is equals to c. Y is gx, g inverse y is equals to this. So let me find the expression for g inverse. So let me just highlight this thing. And then I find g inverse x as this thing, x minus k over 2. Now let me plug in this thing over here. So this thing over here, 3k plus 1, that is plugged in over here. I simplify. And g inverse of this thing is c. There it is. Let me just change the color. So this thing is c, this thing is c, this thing is c, this thing is the blue one. And then you get this equation. Either you make c the subject, or 2k plus 1 is 2c. Got the idea? Step 2 is done. Now this thing over here, this is technically step 3. So let me just shift it down like this, a little bit more. So now we are working with g f x. This is step number 3. So step number 3 is over here, replace c with k because we want everything in k, and that is how this equation is obtained. So just look at this. One single question involving composite, involving inverse, never seen before. So that is a very new kind of question. So when such a question comes, there is no need to worry. Try your level best with a calm, cool head, and things will be much better as compared to if you are very, very anxious and having panic attacks and so on. Now part B. Let's read the question. Let me drink some water. Now it says the curve with the equation is transformed to the curve with the equation. So hold for a second. This is the curve with this equation is transformed to y is equals to hx by the following sequence of transformations. The first one is this vertical and horizontal translation. The second one is stretch in the y direction. Just be focused on y, scale factor k. The third one is this thing that is reflection in x-axis. Find an expression for hx in terms of x. So now first thing, let me just remove this color, The first is about translation. So let me highlight it again. This is 2 and 3. And then over here, this is the stretch along y-axis, scale factor k. And the last thing over here is that it's a reflection in x-axis. Yeah, that is a minus sign on the outside. So first thing first, look at the colors. X minus 2. 8x square is becoming x minus 2 whole square, and this 3 is added over here. The rest of the things are as before. Then what is the thing? Stretch factor. And the other thing. So stretch factor is this purple thing. And this pink one is over here. So that is this thing over here. Got the idea? The colors are very close. So now two things are taken care of. Basically, if there is a flipping in x-axis and a stretch factor along y-axis, so you can write the stretch factor as negative k. Just simplify a bit, and that is your answer. Now the last part, that is the classiest of all. That is this thing, the range of hx is given by this, find the value of c and k. Now I'm comparing it with a x minus h whole square plus this capital K. So this constant is that capital K. When we have an equation of this format, so this is h comma k, and if the range is all real values of x, then since it's a maximum curve, fx is less than or equal to k. Got the idea? Now, what is k over here? This k over here is this thing. Keep that in mind. And what have they given? fx or hx is less than or equal to 15. So hx is less than or equal to k. hx is less than or equal to 15. Therefore, these two should be equal. We are getting two values. Does it say anything about positive, negative? Yes, they are positive constants. So since they are positive constant, except 5, reject negative 3, plug in the c value, that comes out to be 11 over 2. Final answer, write it separately, and that is how this question is done. So now that was a tiring session. We did differentiation and integration. Do watch that video. And then this is March 2025, variant 1-2. And tomorrow we'll be having a live session. Inshallah, going over everything so that you're fully prepared for the exam. Take care, everyone.